I had a very successful business and I destroyed that business through one bad decision. A bad decision which ate away at my business again and again and again for 24 months before it eventually went out of business. And I see so many people doing what I did back then today, and it is eventually going to ruin your business too. I lowered my prices. I lowered my prices to customers who asked me for a discount, and it spiraled out of control. And eventually, it spiraled into a business which could no longer run. In this video, I'm not going to share a strategy. I'm going to share a real story. A real story which, if you don't change the way you work your business, will put you in the same situation as it did to me at 26 years of age. So my business was, I ran a traveling trade show all over the country. There was a gap in the market for well advertised professional trade shows where small businesses could display their products and grow their customer base. We started off with a solid business plan and a solid price. A price which would enable me to, number one, make some profit, because that is why we're in business, guys. Yeah, that's number one. You've got to take home for the work you put in. But number two, to also plow a good amount of that income into advertising, to bring the people in so people could grow their business. That was a big goal. So we started off with a price which was solid. Yeah, it was a good price. It was not cheap. Yeah, because we believed in the quality product that we were offering. Yeah, so we didn't offer a bargain basement cheap entry fee. Yeah, the small business had to invest to get back, but then the responsibility was on our hands to plow that money into the advertising and bring the people in. And it was a huge success. For the first 12 months, it was a huge success. And I probably had a core. I used to get 50 people at an event. I probably had a core 20 to 30 people who would come and travel with me. And the others would be more locals from the area who would come in based on the advertisement that we would do. And what would happen was somebody would come in and say, I want to book three events in one go. Can you give me a discount? And of course, in my head, I'm thinking, wow, that is more cash flow. That's you paying for 3 events and I'll give you money off. So yeah, no problem. And that word gets around because traders are traders. In business, if you're the boss man, people are rarely your friend, yeah? But they will tell everybody else the price they're paying. So that rumor started to get around and more people started asking for that discount. And then I would get to a stage where people who weren't even loyal to me, who weren't even in that pool of 20 to 30 people who were coming everywhere saying, can you offer me a discount? And I would look at it and I'd be thinking, yeah, no problem. Because I'd be thinking of short-term cash. And then they'd come to the event and people talk, how much do you pay? How much did you pay? How much did you pay? And all of a sudden, after 12 months of building a solid business, everybody was asking for a discount. The belief in my product had come down. The amount of money I was able to spend on the advertising had come down, meaning the quality of the event comes down. And when the quality of the event comes down, the attendance comes down. And what does that mean for the traders? It means their sales come down. So from building a great reputation in the first 12 months of putting on professional quality events, which were advertised with great quality and people coming through the door, I was now running events at a lower price and less people coming through the door. And that means people dropped off. And eventually, the spiral took me to a stage where I was no longer making money and it was costing me money, which means it's game over. And it took 24 months for this all to play out. And I'm telling you this today because that is what lowering your prices can do. Short term, it might inject you some cash flow. Long term, it can put you out of business. And what I learned from this experience was, as I went into my next business, was I have got to be comfortable with my pricing. And I've got to stick to my pricing. That business, that events business, lasted 3 years. My next business lasted, and is still going strong, 15 years. And that's all because I learned the mistakes on that first business. And I see many people doing this. They are very insecure about their pricing. They don't believe that they should be charging those prices. They don't believe that their service is good enough to charge those prices. And that is where it goes wrong. It's not a strategy problem. This is a belief problem. This is a problem where you've got to believe what you're offering is fantastic value. It's like I always say in the coaching space, you give me a fee and my job is that, number one, help you fire me. Because my job is to make you independent from me, earning more money. That is my job as a coach. Is to make you independent from me and making a lot more money. And so why would I not believe in my price? If you're going to work with me and you're going to 5x your income through the work we do together, then I've got to believe in my price, because that is what my service can do for you. And that is what you are doing for other people. Maybe you're a therapist. A lot of people have a lot of problems. Stick to your pricing. Because you are solving their problems. You are helping them progress in life. So be confident in the price you're offering. Number one, because you are offering a great service and you are transformationally changing someone else's life or their business. But number two, so you're still in business. So you can still do the things which bring a quality service to the table. I could downgrade my coaching fee. And I could go for the numbers over the quality. And the quality is going to slip. And I am not going to be able to deliver to the masses at a cheap rate. And that's going to give me a bad reputation too. So do you understand why it's so important to stick with your pricing, be comfortable in your pricing, and be confident in your pricing for long-term business stability, and also believe in what you do. When you name your price, it shows you're confident in what you do. So from 18 years of business experience, there is a story for you, not a strategy. Please subscribe to the channel for lots of more. I've got a lot of more stories I could tell you about, mainly from mistakes I made. And if we don't make mistakes, we don't get stronger and we don't get wiser. And I wouldn't be here today if I made all those mistakes. So subscribe to the channel to hear more stories. Or if you're interested in having a one-to-one call with me to see if I could help you take your business to levels you've never seen it before, all my details in the comment box below. Have an amazing day, and thank you very much for listening.